Well, I guess when they say blood, sweat, and tears, they're not joking. I just cut myself trying to make a bracket, and I should have known better, but turns out this is a deadly weapon. So be careful and don't almost cut your fingers off, because that's what I almost did. Oh my god. What is up, everybody? Today we are gonna officially get the intercooler mounted and hanging on the E30 all by itself. All that in today's episode. My name is Ryan. This is Project Race Car. Let's get into it. So I went to Home Depot and got this little tiny sheet of metal that's about 1/8 of an inch thick, and it should be perfect for mounting up this intercooler. I'll be doing like a really crude design where it's just kind of like cut and folded and cut and welded, and it's not going to be very pretty, but it will work, and that's all that we need. So I decided to go with a Mishimoto intercooler, and we decided to just flip it upside down so that it could fit underneath the headlight. And I did this for two main reasons. One of them just being strictly less piping, right? Because it's just going to go from the turbo out underneath the headlight, through the intercooler, and then straight up and out, right? So it's going to eliminate a lot of just piping in general. And reason number two is so that we don't have to go through the metal and we have to cut less of the actual like chassis up. We might need to do a little bit of trimming on the actual like headlights and just around this area, maybe a tiny bit on the front bumper right here, but really not too bad. And we will eliminate just like completely slashing all of this out. So that is obviously a huge pro. So instead of M for Mishimoto, we have W for Wumbo, but it shouldn't affect any sort of flow or anything like that because the flow just goes through it regardless. So on the intercooler we have one mounting point here, one mounting point here, and then two on the bottom in the same exact places. Luckily we can just kind of come off of this little frame rail right here, the front support, and we'll just be able to make a super easy tab just on this front. And then for this one, I was looking at where to mount this, and we actually have a hole right here and right here, which are almost pretty much straight shots. And so we'll be able to kind of make a little Z bracket or whatever to hold this up. What's nice is we can use a rivet kit and put our own screw holes in so that we can fit our own bolts right here, and then we'll just be able to make a little bracket. With this little rivet gun, we're just going to put the threaded portion all the way down. We're going to pop this up, and then we will squeeze the gun as much as possible, and what that's going to do is that's going to crush this little back end, and then we will have threads in that hole. So what I did to make these brackets is I took this piece of 1/8 inch metal, and what I did was I cut on the opposite side of where I wanted to bend it, and that way it had a sharp line for me. I was able to cut it and then bend it into the correct shape. And then what I did was I just threw a weld on it afterwards, and then we painted it. So now we have these nice looking brackets. Like I said, they're very simple, but we just drilled a hole into each side, and now it fits up, and we are able to bolt it to the chassis and hang the intercooler. But super simple, very easy to make. You do need a welder, but not too bad. So we will now be finishing the intercooler, and what we have to do is now do a lot of cutting. By cutting, I more mean trimming, but let me show you. So we have the 3-inch intercooler piping, and right here you can see I already trimmed some of it down, but it's still kind of touching. So we are gonna, since this doesn't really matter, we're gonna kind of take it a little bit deeper into here and try to cut off this like little bit of the 1/4 inch. And then what we also have to do is with the headlights, wait for it. With the headlights, they mount right about here, and you can see that this whole bottom section is actually touching. So what we're gonna have to do is trim a lot of this headlight bracket, and we'll have to do the same thing but a little bit less on this other side since we are going with a 2.5 inch on the turbo side. So that shouldn't be too bad in terms of trimming. We will just need to trim a tiny bit of this headlight bracket. You can see that it's just touching a little bit. So we'll kind of trim as we need it, as we need to, and start on that. So obviously the intercooler is going to be mounted, so we shouldn't have too much flex. But what I'm worried about is just like slow rattling and stuff. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grind a lot of this down underneath. We're going to grind a little bit of that down, just so that this thing can move and shake however much it needs to, without the worry of it just like cutting anything. I'm also going to add some rubberized thing to help seal this. You can get like any sort of like rubberized thing at the store and just put it on this lip along with some paint so that it doesn't rust. I'm also going to clean a lot of this up. Oh no, my glasses broke. Damn it. Well, that ain't gonna work. Never cut without proper PPE. Always have a mask or something. Okay, so we obviously had to cut a lot off on this side, but it's just the bright. So this is the regular headlight, but this is the high beam. So we should be okay to just mount this back up and call it good. And look at that, since it has black couplers, you hardly won't even be able to see it. We'll have the headlight in. I'm gonna swap this headlight with this one so that we can put our intake duct on the turbo side so that we can see the turbo. So the headlight bucket actually isn't fitting around this, so what I'm gonna do in an attempt to still keep running the bright, I'm going to cut a chunk of this bucket out, and we should still retain the 3 mounting points so that the headlight can mount on, and we'll still keep that. So I'm gonna cut this and see if that works. So this will be the turbo side, and we are gonna put this sick thing in. It's just a little 3D printed thing on eBay, but I'm gonna go ahead and drill holes in here so that we can go ahead and mount this and get some new hardware in here. Listen, this is looking good. Now that the headlights are on, I see the vision, you know? Also, I wanted to just preface that you should cover your turbo and there's tape behind this throttle body, so no metal shavings are getting into the engine while this whole process is going on, because, you know, there's just dust and stuff everywhere, and we don't want metal in our engine. So I'm gonna go ahead and put on the front grille to see how this is looking. I mean, that looks like an E30 again. We might not even be able to tell that it's turboed, you know? We'll see how much of the intercooler we'll be able to see, but I really don't think it will be much. We will have to trim part of the bumper, like I was saying, because this obviously like comes out a bit. But hopefully it's not too bad. So to cover up the sharp edge, I decided to just get a rubber hose and cut it in half and then lay it over, so that way we don't have any issues with rubbing. So now I'm going to put hose clamps on all of the turbo bits. So on each one of the pipes and the couplers, I'm gonna put these guys on. Well, I guess when they say blood, sweat, and tears, they're not joking. I just cut myself trying to make a bracket, and I should have known better, but turns out this is a deadly weapon. So be careful and don't almost cut your fingers off, because that's what I almost did. Oh my god. You can see there's that one, and this one it's not doing well. Well, like I said, I know better, and we're all fixed up, so we should keep going. I am spray painting one of the brackets, and so we are just about to mount our first bracket for the intercooler. So when making any sort of bracket, all you have to do is cut a little sliver in part of it. Then we can just grab it with some pliers and bend it without breaking. Okay, so it is the following day. As you guys know, yesterday I busted my hands. You can see just how jacked up they are. They are very swollen. But to prevent that happening today and from the future, I went out and got a nice new vise. That way we can mount it somewhere and we won't have to be drilling on the floor and almost cut off my fingers. So we will be using this for the remainder. I always wear my goggles and stuff like that, but you also just don't want to hurt yourself regardless. So make sure to get proper equipment for these jobs. So yesterday I was able to, you guys saw me notch and bend this bracket, but I also went through and welded it, and so I welded both sides to get structure back into it. And then we were able to spray paint it black. So this is a done bracket, and we will be able to throw this on the car. Oh yeah. I'm gonna say it already, this thing ain't going nowhere. Perfect. Okay, honestly, so far so good. So my drill just died, so I won't be able to finish the third bracket. But so far, you know, that thing is sturdy. That thing's shaking the whole car. So that is good enough in my book. So we're gonna pop off the last bracket, weld those two cut ends, and then I will spray paint it and that should be fully shipped. I decided I'm not going to put the bumper cutting in this video. So the bumper cutting will be in the next video, and we will get the E30 fully put together back again and get everything back on the car. And then we will start making the downpipe and then finishing the injectors. So with these IDX injectors, we needed to swap over the fuel injector like pigtail. And so going from this clip to this clip. And so where you have to do that, we'll finish off the wiring and then finish off all the coolant hoses as well. I also have to get the blow-off valve welded on the intake pipe now. And then once I do that, then we will be able to finish the full intercooler piping and everything will be good to go. There's a couple things that need to be done underneath the car, but other than that, it's really coming together. Thank you guys all so much for the recent support on all of the videos. I hope you guys are enjoying this content. And until next time, my name is Ryan. This is Project Race Car. Have an amazing day. Peace. Remember to also always use your proper protective gear. If you guys don't have good gear, make sure to invest because it is well worth all of the money to save yourself.